If you're afraid, congratulations, you are human. Stay tuned to find out how our fears and listening to what really truly scares us can actually take us closer to our dream life. Hi, I'm Kimberly Bengali. Welcome to my channel, True Stature. It's the place to be to create a life you love, fueled by your personal truth. As I record this video, the entire world is on lockdown. We are dealing with a global pandemic. This is a term I've only ever heard of when I've been thinking of like a video game or a science fiction movie, but no, this is the real deal. And it has struck fear into the hearts of millions. So much so that they're running out and hoarding, toilet paper and filling their cupboards and their refrigerators with all the food they can get. And I understand that, but let's talk about fear, because fear can sometimes make us do unreasonable things. And the reason I wanted to bring this up today, and I know that this is actually a kind of a sore subject for people right now, because we are afraid right now. And there is risk, and there are people dying and people who are hurting and families who are in pain. We are all dealing with fears of the unknown. What's going to happen next month, next year, next time a pandemic strikes the world, something even more serious. Victor Hugo said, "Great perils have this beauty, that they bring to light the fraternity of strangers." And that's what we're seeing right now. The fear is real, but we're facing it together. We're not hiding from it. We're not ignoring the facts. We are facing the fear together, and we are walking through the fear. If we can do that kind of work in our own fears in our lives, that work of facing the fear, not hiding from it, not ignoring it, but actually facing the very real fears that hold us back and walking through them. I'm not talking about the fears like the thing that keeps you from running out into a road full of traffic. I'm talking about the internal fears, the fears that keep us playing small in our lives, the fears that hold us back and keep us from becoming who we really dream of becoming. And those are very real fears, and they have extremely great power in our lives. But here's the good news. We have more power than our fears. We have the power to look those fears in the face. Action is the antidote to fear. I'm sure you've heard that term before. Action is the antidote to fear. To become who you want to be, you have to be willing to do hard things. You have to. And many of those hard things involve fear. In a book called The War of Art, Steven Pressfield writes, "The more fear we feel about a certain enterprise, the more sure we can be that that enterprise is important to us and the growth of our soul." I am learning a vital truth, and that is that fear, your fear, my fear is directive. Fear is directive. It leads us where our souls want to go. And if we actually look at fears like that thing, like for me, knowing that I need to do this, like my family's probably thinking, why is she doing these videos? It doesn't even make any sense. No, it's because I know my heart is saying, do this now, it needs to happen. And that's scary, but my fear, it's so terrifying. It's what's making me see that it matters to me. It matters that I do this. And the fact that I'm terrified is why I know how important it is. Because my big picture goal is I want to create a channel, this True Stature channel, that actually affects the lives of women, helps them feel confident and bold and powerful, helps them to realize who they are, what their power is, and how to walk through the fears and to tackle the problems and to become, heroes and warriors in their lives, and to know where their power comes from. This is my goal, and I hope to have a huge following of women who I'm helping. That's a big dream, and I want to be able to monetize it someday. I want to be an influencer. I'm 40 something, and the influencers of today are like in their 20s or teens, and I have these dreams that are kind of ridiculous, and yet I know I need to do it. And so I'm looking at fear, and I'm like, I'm not good enough. I don't know how to speak on video, and I'm not skinny enough, and What if people will judge me? What if they don't like my content? One of my online mentors that I really love to watch and learn from is Marie Forleo. And in her book, Everything is Figure Outable, which was a New York Times bestseller almost the moment it hit the shelves, it has an amazing chapter on fear and how we can figure out our fears and work through them. She has an exercise that she does that I worked through, and I highly recommend you do this exercise. Actually, we're going to do it right now today. And you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. And I really would encourage you to do this. Don't just brush over this part of the video, guys. Take a moment to do this. It matters to your future and to your goals. It really, truly does. So what I need you to do is, you remember how I described my dream scenario of, my goals and that big, big picture of what I'm trying to do? I would like for you to write down, pause the video and write down what it is that you really, really would love to be living, that life. Like, what's that dream? Who is that woman? Who is that person that is living that life? And what is the life? Describe it in detail without any fears getting in the way. If you knew you could not fail, what would that dream be? So you know my dream, and now you know yours because you've written it down. So now the next step, and this is difficult, but it's necessary. Write down every single fear that comes to your mind right now when you think of that dream. So I'm going to pause you. You're going to pause me again, and you're going to take this moment. You're going to do this because it matters. So take the paper and pen again. Write down your fears. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough, whatever it is. You're not skinny enough. You're not capable. You will be laughed at if you do such and such. You don't know how to do this or that. So what makes you think that you can go tackle something like this? Write it all down. So if you were totally honest with yourself, you probably have a pretty good list of fears. What were your fears? And you can put some of them in the comments below. I encourage you to do so. Face those fears. What are they? Now, with all those fears in mind, you have a worst case scenario right there on your paper. So the next step is to write down, what would you do? If that worst case scenario happened, how would you handle it? Like, each and every one of those items, how would you handle it? What if people don't like my content? Well, for me, I would start fine-tuning my content. What if my videos stink? Well, I would start learning how to make better videos. What if my husband doesn't understand my vision? Well, I would help him understand it. And what if my daughter feels neglected? I would spend more time with her, connecting in the times when I was with her. There was solutions to every one of my fears. What if those happen? Write down what your solutions would be to that worst case scenario happening. Listen to the fears. Let them direct you where you need to work. It's actually it's like a truth that I hadn't even realized was there. That my intuition and my gut was telling me, you're afraid of this because it matters. You're afraid of this because you need to do it. Now you're going to flip the script, because nobody wants to end this on a negative, because we're all going in a positive direction. Flipping the script means now you've written the worst case scenario. Now I would love for you to write the best case scenario. If you actually did go after your dreams, how would you feel about yourself? What would your life be like? How would things be different? Would you be more confident, bold, and powerful because you had tackled things that really, truly mattered? What would your relationships be like? In the best case scenario, you make your dreams happen, and then what is that like? So, on my list of my best case scenarios, they sounded something like this. Atomic growth, because my content is super relevant and helpful. My children seeing me succeed and follow my dreams and do something scary, and my children actually watching that process and learning from it. Financial independence as I learn to monetize what it is that I'm doing. Being able to connect with mentors that I've watched online for years, and actually being able to collaborate and rub shoulders with the people that I've been learning from for so long, and to be able to travel the world, maybe public speaking and sharing from the heart in places I've always wanted to go, in with a purpose that's helping women all over the world. The dreams and the best case scenario of my life is like far outweighs the fears list. Far outweighs. What an awesome lesson to learn. That if that worst case scenario happens, you're still going to make it. You're still going to find your way through. But if the best case scenario happens, and it absolutely can, then what? It's amazing. Amazing. You must face it's like what Eleanor Roosevelt said. You must face the things you're afraid to do. Don't play small anymore. You don't have to play small. This life is a one-time deal. And your dreams are there for a reason. They are part of who you are. They're part of what you're supposed to be doing. Your fear will direct you. Your fear will tell you where you need to get better. Your fear will help you. Listen to your fear. And when there are things that are holding you back, face the fear and step through it. And I will close with one more quote by Nelson Mandela, who said, "May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." Join, subscribe, you know the drill. Share this video with women you know out there who could use this help. And I will see you soon with another message. And together we are going to tackle our dreams. We're going to overcome our fears, and we can do this together. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for joining.